So here I was writing this light cooking book, and I wanted to pull off something that I hadn't seen pulled off in a light cooking book before, at least to my knowledge, and that is an exquisite southern fried chicken. And so I had to do some searching, some soul searching and some product searching, and what I found were two incredible ingredients that really assisted me in having a nice light crust. Oftentimes fried chicken can be very heavy, very high in calorie because the crust is so significant on the piece of chicken. And so I've always used this Wondra flour, which is a prehydrated flour that's ground again, and it's kind of granular, but what's interesting about it is it cooks up in oil just super, super crisp, allowing you to have just the faintest amount of coating on the product, in this case chicken. And in addition to that, I needed some depth, and I discovered this product, PB2. It's essentially a roasted peanut that's been pressed to remove the oil, and what you're left with is essentially a peanut flour. So what I've got here now is this fantastic Wondra and PB2 mixture, 50-50. And then I pop in some ground red pepper and some salt. So then the next thing we do is just a simple dredge. Now you can see that this is just incredibly gentle. It's a delicate, very light coating on the outside, but it will fry up really, really crisp. And I don't like to tamp down because that pushes moisture out of the chicken. What I like to do is just lay it down, toss over the top, and then shake like this. I don't want my flour to be all clumpy. So now the light trick to this whole thing is that there's really nothing for the oil to adhere to, right? You don't have this thick bread-like coating. So what happens is we're using the oil to cook the chicken, and then we'll let it all drain off by draining on this wire rack instead of draining on paper towels, which you commonly see. Okay, it's time to get frying. For this particular recipe, because I want the heat to get fairly aggressive, I pick an oil that has a high smoke point. My preferred one is grapeseed oil because the flavor is fairly neutral. I really want the flavor of the peanut to shine through. So I wouldn't use something like an extra virgin olive oil in this case. So here's the grapeseed oil going into the pan, and allow it to get sufficiently hot. The worst thing you can do when you're frying chicken is put a freshly breaded product into oil that's not hot enough. You're just going to get a soggy mess. So if you look into the pan here, one of the things you can see is this instant viscosity breakdown. It starts to look like there's almost like rivers or veins that start to run throughout the oil, and that's when you know it's getting hot. The last thing you want to do when you're frying with oil is allow the oil to get to the smoke point. It's okay, and you'll get away with it if you do it when you're sautéing, but if you do it when you're frying, you're going to burn your product, and you're probably going to burn yourself, and you might even burn your house down, so be careful. Okay. There we go. And that's exactly what you want, that sort of just beyond gentle bubbling. And if you notice, I'm taking my time to let the heat impact the chicken before I lay in my next piece, because that chicken has cooled off the oil. Now I want to go in with my next piece, and there's been some temperature balance. I'm going to wait again, let that get active. Once that gets active, then I'll add my third piece. If I simply added 3 cold pieces of chicken all at once, it would have suppressed the temperature of the cooking oil and then slowed down the frying process, and then you end up with the soggy chicken situation. So you notice, because I was patient about when I put the chicken into the oil, that I don't have any of this, I have to get a spatula out to get the chicken to lift up off the bottom of the pan. It's absolutely just sliding around. There's zero sticking going on. And again, like any good fried chicken, leave it alone, let the oil do the business. And what you want to focus on more than anything is regulation of the temperature. So that if you start to smell smoky, overcooked, burnt toast kinds of aromas, you really have to back off the heat. So one of the things I do to check whether or not the fried chicken is ready to turn is I take the tong against the side, and if I feel some resistance from the crispness of the coating, I know it's probably ready at the very least to take a peek at. So right there, I'm really happy with that. I think it's nice and golden brown, evenly cooked throughout. It certainly has a little depth and spottiness from the hot spots in the pan. You're gonna get that. It looks home fried. That's what we're looking for. And you could take this Wondra and powdered peanut butter blend and use it to bread virtually anything. It'd be great for thin pork chop. It would be fantastic for a cube steak, pounded country fried steak style, although I would probably jack up the cayenne content of that a little bit and play with it. Maybe zucchini, fried mushrooms, all kinds of amazing things that you could do with this dredge. Okay, repeat after me. I will not use paper towels to drain my fried chicken. There's a couple of reasons why. One of the things that you want to do is maintain some air circulation. The second that you put that nice crispy coating in contact with a paper towel, you've got steam effectively underneath. It's going to make your coating soggy. I don't want that, and you don't want that. And secondly, cleanup's a lot easier, and you don't waste your paper towels. But look at that incredible crispy fried chicken. There's barely any coating on the outside of that, but that peanut flour just turns into a pure crackling amazingness. I have not deceived you. This is actually fried chicken, light fried chicken. You can hear the peanut butter and the Wondra flour coating stays crispy. It's absolutely fantastic. You can find this recipe and other nifty recipes just like this one in my book, Mad Delicious.